Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. It's Monday. Busy day at work. It's always busy Mondays. Everyone comes back. It's all happening. Good weekend. Nice, relaxing. Got out and got a bit of walking done, which has been good to get out. Big week this week, and I had a bit of rest too. So, because this week is probably one of the biggest weeks of the year for tech news, and I guess if you're an Apple fan, definitely huge. Lots happening. Don't forget, we've got the releases happening this week. We've got Canon on the 14th, so that's tomorrow. Then Wednesday, we've got the 15th, Razer and Apple on 15th, early in the morning. Razer's at midnight, Apple's about 1 o'clock in the morning, so don't forget that. Then on the 16th, Danner has a new boot out. New James Bond, Live Time to Die. I think it's coming out in Christmas time. Danner has put a boot on Daniel Craig before, the Mountain Light 2, I think it was. Yeah, beautiful boot. It's actually what got me into trying out Danner, and I've been hooked ever since. They're fantastic boots. So, not sponsored, but I just love their shoes. You will always see me running around with either Danner shoes or even my trusty Danner thongs. They're awesome. I love them. So, new boot, 16th for night. It's obviously a little bit of tactical. It's black. It's all black. It's going to be a good boot. They're going to be really good shoes, so I don't have to worry about that. I guess if the styling is not yours, if you want a conversation boot, if you want to run around, go hiking in James Bond's boots, well, this is your chance to fill James Bond's shoes. That's always, I guess, a good line if you hit the pub or something, or tell your friends, a good conversation starter. So that's all happening this week. Now, we did have some releases over the weekend we're going to talk about, and some news. So we get straight into the big one because it's coming up with Canon tomorrow. The R3, there was rumours going around on Friday that the price was going to be around 7,300 euros, which was just insane. That actually equates to 11,767 Australian dollars, which is just ridiculous. That's more than a 1DX Mark III, which is their flagship. So that was a little scary. Thank God, thanks to Canon Rumors over the weekend, he got his sources to lock in and confirm it's going to be 6,000 US, which is 8,200 Australian, which I think actually is about the right price. It's in that right range. That could change wherever you live, depending on what country, but it's still probably about the price. You got the 1DX, which was Canon kept saying it was the flagship, and that's still at 10. I think that has dropped in price. It's about 10.5 grand Australian at the moment. Then you get the $8,200 there. That's not a bad 2 grand drop down. I actually think the R3 is going to be better than the 1DX Mark III in a lot of ways. So yeah. Now, also over the weekend, finally got confirmation that it's going to be a 24 megapixel sensor. Obviously, it's a brand new sensor, back illuminated, all the good stuff. In that regards, that's going to be good. 24 megapixels is plenty, but it's straight away brought up the question of what's going to happen with the R1. Is the R1 going to be a high megapixel? The A1 for Sony's a 40, 50 megapixel beast. Is the R1 going to be a high megapixel, and that's why they've gone the really fast 30 shots and had the 24 megapixel for the R3. So is it the R3, the pro sports photographer, and the R1 going to be the pro portrait landscape lens with a 50, 60 megapixel sensor in it? I've got this funny feeling, and I think, here's my logic, and this is what I think, and it's just my personal opinion. I think around March, April, Canon released the first 1 megapixel SPAD sensor. Now, if you have been a daily listener, if you're subscribed and hit the bell, you'll get all this interesting information when I release it every day. But the SPAD sensor's very new tech, very high-end tech. And now what the difference is, we all know about high ISO and low light, how good the A7S III was or is, and we're going to talk a little bit of that down the track today with the new lens. But uses big pixels to gather more light, so then you can get more light in. And we talked about videoing the Milky Way and getting an actual video of the Milky Way from the ground, which is just insane. That's how good that is with that sensor. But with a SPAD sensor, what you're looking at ISOs in hundreds of thousands, up to 400,000 ISO, with zero noise. Zero, not one speck of noise. Basically, the sensor's little. If you look at the sensor and all the different pixels on the sensor, and every pixel's a square. A standard sensor, it's got like a circle around, and that's where it picks up the light. So the corners don't get anything. You don't pick it up. With a SPAD sensor, basically talking, it'll pull light into the whole bit of that little pixel. So yeah, you get all the light and you get zero noise. So that's the first huge benefit of the SPAD sensor. The other ridiculous part of it is 20,000 frames a second. 20,000 frames a second. Now, if you're punching 20,000 frames a second, you don't want a 50 megapixel image every second, or 20,000 50 megapixel image. You're gonna fill your card in like 3 seconds. It'll be, and there'll be a 1 terabyte card full. It'll be insane. But, and here's why I think it's gonna be a SPAD sensor. And this is, I think it's gonna, the R1, haven't heard any release dates on that at all. We all know it's coming. We don't know when. Do they need time to get from 1 megapixel to 12 megapixel? Now, the 1DX Mark 1 and 2, I'm pretty sure were both 12 megapixel sensors. And they lasted, what, 10 years or something? Why not a 12 megapixel R1 SPAD sensor? It's not as far-fetched as you might think. And that Pro range, that flagship camera, is all about photojournalists, sports journalists, professional photographers. It's built rugged. It's got a massive lens. They're taking NFL games, baseball, cricket, sport stuff. They're running through a jungle with terrorists taking photos. They need something rugged, built, that can take high speed shots to get that perfect shot, and also low light. In the jungles, doing whatever they're doing. Yeah, so look, that's my theory behind it. Look, if I was putting my money, I would hold off on the R1. The R3 is going to give them at least 6 months worth of good publicity and good sales. We all know from all the rumors, it's a fantastic camera. That is going to hold at bay and let them give it a little bit more time to get this R1 right. They need to be able to get back in front of Sony, not just keep up with Sony. You don't win the race by just staying behind the winner. You've got to actually beat the winner to get in front. So if they could get a 12 megapixel SPAD sensor and get that right and put that into an R1 body with all the tech, holy bundi, that would be a game changer. Imagine photojournalists with their autofocus, eye autofocus and bird autofocus, 20,000 as a dude's quarterback's throwing the shot, or a baseball, or a dude's hitting the ball playing baseball. That would be insane. So that's my theory behind it. So, and the only problem with that is I think the R3 probably should have been a higher megapixel, but then we have heard rumors of the R5C coming, which will be a high megapixel R5 variant. They might put that into a new body and go all pro style body with the high megapixel one, or keep that just as a standard body. And that's where you'll get your 50, 60 megapixel. They might have a different sensor set up for that. But look, that's my theory. But I think this R3, as I said, I think this R3 is going to be a big seller at 8,200. I think they got the price. His price is in the right area, and I think they'll sell shit tons. Like my t-shirts. Hey, check out the embroidery on that. Merch, champion shirts, high quality. Go get them for summer or winter. There's hoodies there for you. We've got some great stuff. Go to the merch store, links down below. Hook up us. Now, over to Motorola. The big news on the weekend. Wireless charging. We all know about wireless charging, but you've got to sit it onto a Qi charger to get your charge. Earlier this year, apparently there was, I think it was Xiaomi or something. Xiaomi did a wireless charger with one phone. So not connected to the phone, a box. Phone sitting here, it charged the phone using invisible magic. Well, Motorola's come out and they've leaked video of them charging, testing it, 4 phones at once. Now it uses 1600 antennas in the unit, and it only charges at 5 watts per phone. But you can if you go on the YouTube, Google it, you'll be able to check it out. It's called space charging Motorola. If you just Google that, you'll be able to go and get the video and check out all the people that have posted that. So good on them for that. Very, very cool. It'll do it up to 5 meters, and it'll do 4 at once and through obstruction. So basically the tech is you could have your phone sitting in the bathroom or while you're sitting on the throne and charging your phone to your charging point in your bedroom or something like that. So pretty darn cool, and no longer having to take the wireless charger to plug it into somewhere so you can sit your phone on it. Sort of defeats the purpose of getting rid of a cord when you got to actually carry the charger to sit it on, if that makes sense. So pretty darn cool. And you imagine that, having them in shopping centres, as you're walking through the shops, your phone's just charging. 5 watts is perfect, because if you've got multiple chargers all over and it's free power going everywhere, well, you don't need to charge it at high speed. You just need to just keep it cruising along. So I think that's pretty cool. Probably a couple of years away, very early on sort of tech, but I think it'll go pretty well. So look out for that one. Now, last but not least is Lauer. Now we're affiliates, or I'm affiliate with Lauer. Love their lenses, really, really quality gear. They've always had great quality coming out, and all the reviews on them have always been really, really good. And they've just dropped the widest 0.95 aperture 35mm lens. It's an Argus 35mm 0.95, and what a beast it is. Crazy stuff. Really low focus breathing. It's $900 US, about 1250 Australian. So for that quality, for that aperture, that's actually pretty darn good price. Lauer's not a cheap product. They make really good lenses. We talked about the anteater lens last week, how good that is and what that's done for the TV industry and people that make ads and films. It's just an amazing lens, and that same quality goes into everything. They're really, really good. So if you are looking for a really nice prime lens of anything, you definitely can't go wrong, especially a wider one. They do, what do they call it? Where you don't get any curvature. They keep them dead straight, and they can have there's a 12mm that's fully no curves. It'll keep all your lines straight. They do really quality stuff. So definitely go check this out. Now, want to go check out a video, Camera Conspiracies. He's an absolute legend, really funny dude, camera tech and all different camera gear, but he's got a really funny approach, and he does it really, really well. He had this lens on A7S III. Now, we talked a little bit before about how good the low light is on the A7S III. Put a 0.95 aperture full frame lens on there, and holy crap, it is amazing. Basically, he stood on the street, pitch black, you couldn't see anything, and literally he turned it up to 12,000 ISO, and it was like daylight. You could see all the detail in the trees. There was stuff all noise. It was bloody sensational. What a lens camera combination that is. That's just really, really cool. Very, very good. And so yeah, go check out Camera Conspiracies for that one. If you're keen for that lens, there is a link below if you have been thinking about it, and that will assist me. It's, I guess, like buying merch, it helps us out a little way, and I do appreciate it. Or anything to help me, I guess, keep this ball rolling. We're up to 543 episodes, so yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying it. Now, last but not least, if you haven't been around for a while, if you only knew, I'm a mad Datsun fan. I've had a Datsun 1200, a Datsun 1000 rally car, Datsun 120Y was my first car. I'm a Datsun fanatic, without a doubt. So, when they announced that the new GTR 2021 Japan market only is about to release on the 14th as well, that was the other date, 14th 9th, so the same day as Canon at 1:30 in the afternoon, so it'll be East Coast, about 1 o'clock here. We got the new GTR coming out. Now this is going to be the last petrol engine GTR. They're talking about the hybrid. They might have a hybrid option possibly for this coming in this model, but the next model is pretty much going to get a full redesign, and it's probably 99% sure it's going to be full electric with full battery power. So going to be, look, I guess this is a end of an era. I remember when the 32 R32s come out. One of my mates in Adelaide that I played baseball with had a 1,000 horsepower GTR R32. Took me for a drive and scared the living crap out of me. I was lucky enough to drive an R35 Black Series in Vegas at the racetrack. It's the fastest car I've ever driven. Faster than the Ferraris and the Porsches that I've driven. Yeah, insane. What a car. So it's a history, it's a living piece of history and a bit of artwork. For probably at least 15 years, it was the fastest car to 100 at like 2.5 seconds before the Teslas and the Bugattis come along, the $1 million cars, and then the electric cars come in to destroy both of them. So like it is a piece of history. It's gonna be selling, I think they're talking about 400 grand a pop. So if you do want a piece of history and you are a Nissan GTR fan, this might be your last chance to get a petrol version. Now it's got all the fruit. I think it's like 530 horsepower, and obviously all the amazing tech that they've got in there that makes it just a wicked car to drive. And they are amazing to drive. As I said, it's the fastest car I've ever driven. I think in 800 meters of racetrack, I got up to 118 miles an hour, which is just insane. From full lock around the corner to hit the hammer again, and then like literally about 8 seconds later, you're living doing 118 miles an hour. It's just insane. And handles on rails. It's just crazy. So very, very cool. Rightio, well, I'm going to keep editing, try and get this video done for this week. It's going to be a busy week. I've got lots to do. We've got all these events I've got to stay up late and watch on Tuesday night and Wednesday. So yeah, it's going to be a full week. And yeah, hang around and we'll see you all again tomorrow. So whether you're going this way, that way, I'll see you at the merch store. Go buy a shirt. See ya.